Buy less, but buy quality is my mantra. Now, I'm willing to pay more for my sweaters because I like to hang on to them. Now, when they get a hole in them, a tiny little hole in them, you can always fix it. As a matter of fact, we've done a video, and I will leave a link for that in the description bar below. But what happens when you have a hole in your elbow that's the size of a quarter? Well, I'll tell you, don't throw it away. There is a way to fix it, and I'm going to show you how. So here's my favorite sweater, and I have worn it a lot. As you can see, I've worn out the elbows, and I've tried to mend them as much as I can, but now I either have to throw it out or patch it, and I'm going to show you how you can get more life out of your sweaters by patching them. The first thing you want to do is you want to start collecting pieces of fabric from other sweaters that you owned and you could not save. And you're going to use these knits to patch other sweaters in the future. So you're never going to find a complete match. And contrasting, I think, actually looks really interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this cream colored swatch from another sweater onto this sort of ecru sweater here. I'm going to need 2 patches. What you need to do is you need to cut a patch that's 3/4 of an inch larger than your area that needs to be repaired. And then that way you'll have enough room to cover beyond the threadbare area. So here's the knit that I'm using to patch this area. And like I said, we're going to make it larger than the threadbare area by about 3/4 all the way around. So I like using the rib, and the reason I like using the rib in a sweater is because it's much sturdier and easier to sew. So here's I'm going to cut right down one of the ribs. And I'm going to cut just outside of the rib. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to cut it in half. And these are going to be my 2 patches. So next, we're going to take the swatch that I cut, and I'm going to lay it over the threadbare area. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take my pins, and I'm going to pin it in place, which will make it a lot easier for me to stitch around it. You really don't need a lot of pins. And I'm going to do the same to the other area. Choose a color thread that matches the swatch, and you're going to begin at a corner. And I like to reinforce the corner, the first stitch, just so that I'm sure it's going to stay in place. And then the type of stitch you're gonna loop your thread around each stitch, picking up a thread from the sweater about every 1/8 of an inch. And if you're using the rib, try and catching it consistently within the rib. Well, that's it today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, we would love to hear from you. Eat well, laugh a lot, and be chic.